rebalance the voltage.
Yeah, man. I just thought it was so funny that you guys... I noticed that he was following you on Facebook. So I asked him, I was like, do you know Bio? And he's like, yeah, man, we went to school together. I was like, oh my gosh, what are the odds of that? I've literally been talking to him about doing a podcast for years. Literal years, because I looked... what do I got going on here? I looked for... I looked through our messages on Facebook and found out that he was...
Finished.
We were talking about it in like 2018, 2017 maybe. I was like, my goodness, I didn't realize that, it was like every couple of months I was like, dude, we should totally start a podcast. Let's start a podcast. And then when I started That's Strange, the original plan was to start a video game podcast. And it kind of didn't really ever get off the ground. We recorded like an episode of it, and I don't think it ever aired anywhere or anything. It was just like a test thing. So I was talking to him about it during that time.
Might as well dig in now.
And now that I've joined Showboys in a more full-time capacity, I was like, dude, it's time. It's time to get Rhett's voice out there, because I love that kid. He's fantastic. And I think he'd be one hell of a podcaster.
The best method of limb replacement. Silly, I know, but I keep thinking, might there be another way?
Doc was testing a new contact material for the prosthetic. Strong, but there's a lot of impedance. Better tell Doc to keep looking for other materials. All right.
Yeah, man, I definitely agree. I think he'd be a strong addition to Showboys. I have another guy that I'm trying to get to join me, also, who knows Rhett, and I think I'm close. I'm close to getting him. But we'll see. All right.
Spider-Man, it's Yuri.
Fisk make it to Rikers yet?
Not Rikers. Our boy qualifies for the VIP treatment. He's in the raft.
Ah, joining Scorpion, Electro, and the rest. Fisk should be honored. That's a steamed company.
Can you swing by the precinct? Got an issue that could benefit from your unique skill set.
For you, Yuri, anything. I'm on my way.
Alright, so before we go to this mission, I want to just take a look at what I got set up here, because I definitely want to have specific sets or specific skills on here, because we're playing on Ultimate. I definitely want to have this in here somewhere. And then maybe we'll just rock it like that for now. Also would like, I think I probably have enough to unlock all this stuff. So we're just gonna go through and unlock all this stuff real quick. If we have enough, that is. Like I said, this is probably like the 4th or 5th New Game Plus that I've played on this specific save that I made this one off of. So I've got plenty of the tokens that you get to probably unlock all this stuff. And if not, we're going to be able to get plenty more throughout the game. So you get tokens from various different things, doing the crimes that pop up, getting backpacks, and then doing the base, like enemy bases that you go through and clear out. Alright, we'll keep the OG spider suit on for now.
Looks like Jameson's got a new episode out. Wonder what my #1 fan thinks about the Fisk takedown.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wasn't having too much trouble bio playing on Ultimate when before I restarted it for the stream here. But then again, I have everything unlocked. You know, my character's fully leveled up. I have all the gadgets unlocked, and I've played this game quite a bit. So I'm sure I probably would have got wrecked too if I played on the hard difficulty from the beginning.
Welcome to Just the Facts with J. Jonah Jameson, alerting you to the threats you don't even know about.
So did you ended up getting the deluxe edition Miles with the remaster of the game that I'm playing here, or just the regular Miles?
Is that right? Tell me, are you a police officer? Prosecutor? Maybe an award-winning reporter with decades on the job like me?
No, I'm a plumber.
Oh, good. Then fix my toilet and shut up! Let me explain something to you about crime bosses. As soon as one goes down, every punk with a gun, a tracksuit, and a drawer full of gold chains decides
Yes,
he's
sir,
the
deluxe.
next
Nice,
godfather.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Ultimate. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Now that you quit smoking,
It's definitely worth
tell
it for
people
this
when you come
just
up
to get
here.
this game alone, because
Then
I don't
need a
even think
break from
they,
their crap.
at least they weren't at the beginning selling
Fair
this
enough.
game
So, why'd you
standalone.
call?
It was only
Need
if
a
you got
date
the
to
deluxe
policeman's ball?
edition
Got a
of
black and white
Miles.
suit?
So
No
I
balls
don't know
here
if that
anyway.
has changed
We spent
since,
too much integrating Oscorp surveillance tech.
Worth
but
it though, right?
It
I think
was,
it's definitely worth it.
until an hour ago. The system
And Miles is fantastic. And to be honest with you, I may like Miles
Tell me
more than
someone
this. I know my
sabotaged the central
son
server, and now all
enjoys
the towers are
Miles
offline.
far more than this. And it's actually funny because
job.
the very first platinum trophy
Figure it
that
out
I
later.
ever got
Right now we need to get the
on
towers back
PlayStation was this game, the
Fast.
original one,
And you called
2018.
me? Aw,
And
that's sweet.
The very
called
first
someone
platinum
I could
trophy that
trust.
my 8-year-old
Plus, the
got
signals
was
are
Miles
scrambled and we have
Morales,
no idea
which
how
he
to
did
fix
all
it.
by himself. So I thought it
Ooh.
was kind of funny that we both
I love a
did
challenge.
Spider-Man's
You
platinums.
break it, you buy it.
I thought you trusted me. Let's take a look at this tower.
Yeah, that's interesting, Bio, because I know I
Input
thought they
grades
said
have been
originally
shifted
that they
to
weren't
some.
going to do it standalone. So that's why I just bought the deluxe anyway. Plus, it was like right at the launch of the PlayStation. I was like, it's perfect. It's a perfect game
We just
to
had a
test
tower
out the
come back
PS5.
online. Was
So.
that you?
Not just a pretty mask, huh?
Whatever you did, any chance you could do it to the other towers?
Sure, but just so you know, I had to sync up with the tower to fix it.
Yeah,
I've
definitely.
seen all
This will
crime
get
data
you
in the
set
area
up real
now.
good for
Looks like there's a
for
break-in happening
Miles.
near me.
Great. I've got units nearby.
Don't bother. I'm
But
on it.
I really enjoyed the way they made Miles feel quite different from Spider-Man as you're playing him. I think it could have happened that they just felt identical, and they don't really. He's got a couple different skills that Peter can't do. So, but I'm very amped for Spider-Man 2, even though it's not coming out till 2023. I think you're going to be able to
These
probably
guys didn't forget their keys.
Grand Theft Auto 5 switch between Miles and Peter, which I think is could be really fun. And just the fact that it's not coming out till 2023, and I think the developers have said like it's a huge game, and it's got several characters that aren't in this game that I would have really liked to see. So I'm pretty pumped for it.
Okay, wrapped up.
Thanks for that. Now I'm seeing an assault near you.
You're in luck, Yuri. Your favorite tough but lovable, grizzled, seen-too-much detective is in town.
What? No. You promised you wouldn't do that any...
Spider Cop.
Please, no.
So you're the snitch.
Back off, creep.
Yep, she's the one.
I said back off!
Yeah, Bio. I did finish Returnal. I actually that was my first review for Downright Creepy.
Get away from her.
I think I gave it like a 90%. I can't remember what they use for their review system, if it's a out of 10 or a percent. But I thought it was. I liked it, man. I liked it a lot. It's it'll punish you. There's no doubt about that. But it took me, I'm trying to think, I feel like I remember it taking me 50 hours to get through the whole thing. That might be a little steep, but, you know, it's all about finding the right, just getting lucky, really. And I kind of have the worst RNG luck in the world. So I often struggle with games that have heavy RNG elements, so.
All clear, ma'am.
Fifth biome, yeah, you are close, man.
You're a little weird,
Definitely.
but you got a good heart.
Hollow Seeker with serrated, I think it was Hollow Seeker with serrated projectiles, and the portal that damages enemies is what I used to get through the entire thing, especially the 6 biome.
Best wheat cakes in the city, hands down.
Mom used to make those. Haven't had any in a long time. I'll check it out. Thanks, Spider Guy.
It's definitely definitely an addicting formula, and it's cool that
from up there.
The studio made a game like that because they were kind of known for the arcadey side-scrolling games.
A second surveillance tower.
Which you can almost see the DNA of those games in Returnal with a lot of the projectiles that come out of the enemies and stuff.
The chief never did
So
understand
I think it's
Spider
definitely a
Cop.
path, a step in the right path to them becoming a legitimate. Not that they're not a AAA studio, but for them, maybe making a more AAA, less arcade style game, and I think it was. Pretty well received.
I can modify these towers to track more than just crimes.
Yeah, those serrated projectiles, man, they're unstoppable, really. And especially if you add that portal that pops up over your head that damages enemies too, it's like a lethal combination.
Including one nearby.
And really helps you in that once you get to the 6 biome, you'll see what I'm talking about. It helps to have that portal up.
Oh, wow. One of my old backpacks from high school. Forgot I attached tracking dots to these. Wonder how many of these are scattered around the city.
Yeah, so Housemarque has made quite a few arcadey side-scroller game. Resogun, which was a big game on the PlayStation 4. I think it might have launched on the PlayStation 4. I could be wrong on that. And then they made Nex Machina, I think is how you say it, which is another, not side-scroller, I think it's like a top-down twin-stick shooter. Alien Nation, which was another one, and then there's another one that I can't remember off the top of my head that I believe was another side-scroller. Yeah, I can't. Super Stardust or something like that.
Still there? Got a robbery a few blocks away.
Spider Cop's on it. Part man, part spider, all cop.
So this part is just kind of getting you set up for the crimes in the game as you're going through and finding them and seeing what kind of different crimes you're going to get throughout the game.
Hey, fellas.
Spider-Man! Shoot it!
Web blocking these punks. Such a cool move, and it's so effective too, really. Oh.
More of them? Guys, if you worked this hard at a legit job, you wouldn't need to be criminals.
Wow, that certainly did not feel like I was on Ultimate, but I am on Ultimate. Odd. Alright.
Alright, Yuri. I'm gonna repair the last Chinatown tower now.
Don't you mean Spider Cop's gonna repair it?
Been doing a little thinking, Yuri. Policing's a young man's game, and Spider Cops, well, He's no spring chicken.
I don't know
Please
if
be
it's
going where I think you're
conveying to
going.
the stream
As of
right now,
today,
quality-wise,
Spider
but my
Cop is
goodness, this city
officially
looks
retired.
amazing in
Oh,
this
thank God.
in this
I need a
remaster,
drink.
especially with
We'll all
this
drink
kind of
tonight, Yuri.
afternoon filter
Drink to the
on it, where
memory
the
of Spider Cop's tireless.
sunsets over there.
Yuri?
It just makes the city look really
Yuri, you
good.
there?
Close to the early
I guess
morning
the emotion of the moment
filter that I was
overwhelmed
talking
her.
about earlier.
10-4 will notify once we're on scene and have the lanes clear.
Not good. Can't have people taking pictures of my 3 chest hairs. Tools I need for suit repair at the lab. Wonder if Dr. Octavius is left for the day. Doctor, how did it go with the committee? I'm so sorry I screwed things up.
Not at all, Peter. They're just nervous in the face of imminent triumph. They'll calm down. They always do.
Should I head back to the lab for cleanup?
No. I'm stepping out for dinner anyhow. We'll resume tomorrow. Short break, then back to creating the future.
Wish I could bottle and sell that man's optimism. Sounds like he's left the lab for the day. Good time to work on my suit in private.
Okay, so yeah, man, I tell you what, I have when I got the PS5 last year, I bought a LG C10, and it's fantastic, man. It's well worth the investment, especially for the PS5 and the Series S, or X rather. I think that there's like maybe 3 or 4 HDMI ports that are 120 hertz on this TV. So, I mean, I got the 65-inch, and it was a noticeable difference jumping from just a basic 4K TV that I had, the 55 or 65-inch 4K, to this. And I was playing Spider-Man at the time, and it's a very noticeable improvement. So if you're coming from a non-4K TV to one of the 120 hertz 4Ks, especially the C10 or any of the LG ones that are kind of made for next generation gaming, you're going to notice a big increase. Alright, so right now we have a mission with Dr. Octavius over here, but like I said, we're going to go through and do these towers here, just because it just makes exploring the rest of the game more enjoyable when you have the map unlocked like this corner over here where you can see all the backpacks and missions and all that stuff. So, unfortunately, it looks like there's not that many of them. There is quite a few of them. So, might be a little boring section of the stream here, but it'll be worth it in the long run. We don't have to worry about them later on in the stream, so just get them out of the way. We can actually skip those panning shots. I gave you a nice little panning shot earlier, so we'll probably skip majority of the other ones that we do here. So when you unlock the first tower in the section of the map, it unlocks like typically 2 or 3 more that you have to go do. That's why it didn't look like there was that many of them. Shouldn't take us too terribly long, 15 minutes maybe to get all these towers. Let's see.
All units report of an assault.
Height of this building here is a little maddening. So I typically was playing this game with the 60 FPS mode, just because, especially for this game, I felt like it was so smooth, Spider-Man's movements and everything at 60 FPS. But I've played it like that, you know, a couple times, so I wanted to try out the fidelity mode, which is unfortunately is locked to 30 FPS. But it's just, I mean, it's stunningly beautiful, really. Statue of Liberty over there in the corner, Ellis Island. It just makes the city look more realistic, alive. Performance mode. I think the original performance mode doesn't affect traffic or pedestrian density, but the performance RT, which adds in the ray tracing reflections, which really add to the game, especially at night, does mess with the traffic and the pedestrians. So if you put it on, the city just doesn't really feel too alive as it does in the fidelity and the regular performance mode. It's a cool combo to have ray tracing and 60 FPS. So ray tracing, for those that don't know, is how you can see Spider-Man in this actual reflection. And you'll notice that the if you look at the reflections here, instead of just being like kind of stock reflections that are in the performance mode, you can look back and see that it's actually the city behind you that's reflecting off of the glass. So it adds a lot to the city at night. It adds a lot in the daytime too. But where you're really going to notice it is when we go into any interiors in the game. A lot of the interiors look amazing in fidelity mode. So hopefully it comes across on the stream.
We don't need you here right now, right?
But it is hard to go backwards from 60 FPS to 30 FPS. It does take, you know, maybe a half hour, 45 minutes of playing for your eyes to adjust to it, or at least mine personally. Yeah, the reflections that you can't pass them up, man. You really can't. For the longest time, I did pass them up, but this time around, now that I've played, you know, 30% of this game before the stream with those reflections, it's just you cannot pass them up. And that's not the only thing that's added for fidelity. Like I said, the traffic density I think might be a little bit higher. Textures and stuff are a little crisper, but yeah, the ray tracing reflections is really where you notice the fidelity mode. Where is that tower at? Oh, there it is. Okay. But it does, you know, once you switch from 60 FPS back to 30, like I said, it does get it looks very jittery at the beginning, but as you play it more, you adjust to it to the point now where it doesn't, you know, I can't even really notice a difference. I'm sure if I go to 60 FPS and then back, I'll notice a huge difference, but for the time, right now that my eyes are adjusted to playing at 30 FPS, it's not as offensive as it was when I first started. Oh, I did for sure too, but I spent a good chunk of change seeing what most people were playing at, and it seemed like a lot of people when I first looked, because I hadn't really decided yet if I wanted to play this playthrough on performance again, or try out the performance RT, because that was an addition that came maybe a couple months after the game released, after I had already finished it. I did put it on and tinker with it a little bit, but because, especially now that I'm streaming, I'm sitting a little closer to my TV than I normally would. It's very noticeable to see the drop in resolution this close to the TV. So, oh, almost landed it. But I think I'm hopeful that by the time Spider-Man 2 comes out, and by the mid to end of this generation, we won't maybe have to make that choice between performance and fidelity. I think that performance RT that Insomniac has done in Spider-Man and Ratchet and Clank is a good sign that they're starting to figure out how to possibly make both fidelity at 60 and performance at 60 FPS work together, which would be nice. But we'll see. The game doesn't come out. The new Spider-Man game doesn't come out for another 2 years probably. So plenty of time for them to tinker around with it and figure it out.
Hey, before you go, can you sign this for my kid?
So unlocking all these towers lets you see all the backpacks, which we're seeing up on the screen now. Later on, we're going to unlock a couple other things that you can see if the map's unlocked. I'm not sure if the crimes, because honestly, this is how I play this game every time I unlock the towers at the beginning, so I'm not sure if the crimes show up on the map if the towers are unlocked or not. Yeah, I'm definitely hopeful for that because not that this game looks terrible really in any. I mean, I think it looks fantastic in performance. And the big thing with performance for me, at least at the beginning, was it to me, to my eyes, looked better because of the 60 FPS. Now, when I kind of tested them both side by side, this close to the TV, fidelity does look significantly better, I think. But that 60 FPS, especially with some games, it's hard to pass it up. And this is almost one of those games where it's hard to pass up because it just makes Spider-Man's movement so smooth. It makes fighting so smooth. Swinging through the city is buttery smooth. So, you just have to decide if you're willing to allow your eyes to adjust to 30 FPS. If you're coming from a 30 FPS game, you might not even notice the jitteriness, to be honest.
Would you look at that? Half the crime tower's back up already.
When Spider
We
comes
got
on the
half
job,
of these puppies
come hell or high
unlocked.
water, the job gets...
Nope.
She'd never admit it, but the chief was warming up to Spider Cop. His casual disregard for by-the-book thinking was a breath of fresh air. She'd come around someday.
Alright, we got just a small handful of towers left here. I mean, seriously, look at that sunset. Oh, for sure, Bio. I agree. I think this is probably, if you compare all of the kind of renditions of Spider-Man that we've gotten, especially from the movies, I think they handled this beautifully. Absolutely. It's probably my favorite rendition of Peter. I think that the live action guys, they were, for me personally, it was always like they nailed one part and not the other part. So they either nailed being Spider-Man or they nailed being Peter. There hasn't necessarily been one that's nailed all of it. I think Tom Holland's a great Spider-Man. I really think they're all good. I kind of disagree with Tobey Maguire being the best one. I just like, I don't know what it is. I can't. Those movies to me almost seem like a parody of Spider-Man. Especially if you go watch them now. Now, back in the day when I was a kid and I was watching them, yeah, I loved those movies. They were awesome. But now that the MCU has kind of come out, I don't think that they hold up as well as the Amazing Spider-Man movies, which I know that's kind of a controversial opinion. But yeah, this actor, trying to think of his name, I can't remember his name, Yuri something, that did the voice acting for Peter in this. I think he nailed it.